What's going on YouTube? Benable Straws back with another Envoy exclusive video for you guys today. And if you guys enjoyed the gameplay videos for Uncanny Avengers, Mighty Avengers, and Immortal X-Men, the video is up there in the corner there for you. But today we're going to be going over the Spotlight to Prologue. We're going to be going over the ins and outs, the reward structure, the nodes, the requirements, and everything in between. So let's go ahead and get started. The way that the map is set up, it's basically like a two-way path going up with 3 sections on each side. So we're pretty much going to be able to do 4 on one side, 4 on the other side, and 1 person pretty much floating in between that 4, because there's 3 lanes going up, 3 lanes going up, 3 lanes going up, 3 lanes going up, and then you end up at the final. So let's go over the main ways, because it's the same on both sides, as well as here, Alpha Flight here, Alpha Flight here. So in the beginning node here on any character mission 1, here is the reward structure for the base difficulty. Here are the enemies. Here we have 2 Wongs, we have a Guardian, we have 2 Shuris, and some different ISOs for all of the different ones. Now, of course, these don't look very menacing, as we can use any 5 characters, so you can use any of the raid teams to your disposal that you currently have. And there's no ISO requirement here either. So in the second node, you'll see the reward structure here and the points you'll be getting as well. Same thing with the ISO and all of the enemies that we have here. So that's going to be it for the second one. There's no boss node for the any character missions until we move up to the Alpha Flight missions, as well as no ISO requirement here. Here's the reward structure for these. And of course, this is just the base difficulty. We're going to be looking at the other difficulties as we move on in this video. But the Alpha Flight Mission 1, it seems like we have as Guardians which is very strange. They didn't add an Icarus here, so we don't necessarily have to worry about rewinds or anything like that. So definitely player friendly moving up. And the Alpha Flight boss moving up from Mission 1. Here is the reward structure here. We do have some T4s here, as well as 4 million points. So it seems like we have some more purple ISO. They start introducing some more meta teams, I'd say. And a zombie Scarlet Witch even. I'm not necessarily sure why this Nimrod doesn't have any ISO. But that is the same on both sides. Same thing as the reward structure as well. Moving up to Alpha Flight Mission 3 on the left side, it looks like we have a Gamma. It seems like to be a full Gamma, but we're going to be using Alpha Flight, so they're not necessarily going to be getting charges or anything like that. Same thing with the ISOs here. You have a Maria Hill, you got some secret Avengers. Not necessarily anything that's going to be getting in Alpha Flight's way, that's for sure. The reward structure there. The Alpha Flight Boss 2 reward structure here. Looks like we have a Super Scroll, but that's not necessarily going to be a problem because of North Star and all of the other characters there. But I do like to see this level of difficulty, I'd say, because they're starting to introduce diamonds. It's G16. We got some purple ISO on these characters, and there is a lot of repeats, let me tell you. But it shouldn't be that difficult for your Alpha Flight, that's for sure. And then you move over here to the middle where you both meet, and here is going to be a final boss for E13, and then you're going to be moving up into the Uncanny Avengers. And there is the reward structure here, 20 million points here. So there's a Super Scroll, 2 Panda Pools, and it's very strange. You guys will notice that this is going to be G18, where the other ones at the other final boss are only G16. And I thought that was a little interesting because they still have the same requirements for both nodes. But we got some Black Order, we got some Dawkins, we got some Black Knight action, we got some Void Knights. So it sort of feels like the last Spotlight boss node, sort of like a little bit of mix of both. But nothing too crazy. Alright, moving over to the Uncanny Avenger Prologue Mission 1. Here's the reward structure there for 2 million points. We have some Secret Defenders, we have some Hive Mind, we have some Brawlers, and we have some Darkhold, and we have some Out of Time. Of course, moving up to the Uncanny Avenger Prologue Boss 1, here we have the reward structure with 10 million points, as well as some Asgardians and some, it seems like they just copy and pasted this one. It does look rather the same as this one over here that I saw earlier. Yeah, it looks like an Alpha Flight mission. It looks like they just copy and pasted that into this one. Sorta, but not really, but you guys get the idea, right? You guys can use 4 Uncanny Avengers here, so unfortunately you are going to need Jean Grey to get these missions done. Alright, moving up down the line to Uncanny Avenger Prologue Mission 3 for 2 million points. There's the reward structure there, so it looks like we have some Icemen. Looks like we have some Scarlet Witches, some Miles, some Capstan. But as you can see, it's only G16. Like, we're going to have... the new stat meta is going to blow this out of the water. This is just the prologue. I'm very curious to see what the difficulty levels are going to be once we finally get Hercules onto the team and we finally start the actual Spotlight too. A lot of people were upset and complaining about the reward structure, like, oh my god, they nerfed the rewards. This is sort of how it felt like when the Spotlight had its first initiation, right? The rewards were low and then they started to increase. So I want to save my feedback for when the actual raid begins, right? Because this is just a little taste of what's coming later, of course. All right, so that was Prologue Mission 3. Now Prologue Boss 2, here's the reward structure for 10 million points. We finally start to see an Ares. We see some Black Knights, some Out of Time, some Dark Hunters, and some more Out of Time with a second Ares. Shouldn't be a problem at all. And that'll do it for the boss. And then we make it to the final boss, which you guys will sort of notice a little bit of a difference. It sort of has the reward structure of Ultimus, where you move up the sides and then you link at this final boss. I was a little sad to see that there was no Odin or Mephisto at the final boss. Hopefully that changes in the real iteration. But this doesn't have any requirements. So once you reach the end, say you and your alliance mates got through the boss node and you guys are all gassed and, you know, all your characters are pretty much on red. Here you can use all 5 characters. There's no requirements, so you can use any of your 5 characters. You could use Odin, you could use Mephisto, you could use the whole shebang, right? So here, there's the reward structure there for 20 million points. And there's going to be a Dormammu, some Undying. You have an Oath in here. You got some Alpha Flight. You got some Masters of Evil. You start to see some Superior 6, of course, with another Dormammu. But there's plenty of diamonds. I would like to see what the difficulty levels are on the higher difficulties. Because these, for an endgame player like myself, these look a bit simmable, if I'm just being blunt and honest. But we're definitely going to be checking out some gameplay and some other Envoy videos. I'm just making this video more of as an informative one because I was not able to join the raids in time. Unfortunately, here on the playtest server, rules are rules, and the raid was started before I could join. But we are going to be going over the reward structure here in this video. And in the details here, the normal raid difficulty, of course, the reward structure for this normal raid difficulty for tier 1 is as shown here, and all of them are the same other than the raid credits. They only differ by 100 a pop, and they all go down here. We're going to be getting some Path to Jean Grey orb fragments. We're going to be getting some Hercules Diamond orb fragments. We're going to be getting some Armory 19 orb fragments, as well as some Crimson Gear Raid orb fragments, as well as ability orb fragments. Not necessarily sure what this ability orb is going to contain, but I can imagine that it's going to be the way to get T4s, essentially. Of course, we have some gold, and we also have some Spotlight Raid Orb fragments. This was a little bit of the hot topic when it came to wondering if the Spotlight Orb was going to change or if it was going to stay the same. But since Sentinel was literally just added at the time of recording this video on January 2nd of 2025, it would have been redundant to get rid of an orb that they added a new character to, right? And of course, you have your raid credits. These are the tiers for 10%, 40%, and at the 40% they start to add some T4 ability materials, and they don't differ, so you guys won't be fighting for first place, second place, none of that nonsense. They sort of did away with that in some of the later raids that they were introducing, and I must say it is very reassuring that we're not fighting over nodes. Essentially, sure, some of the boss nodes have the T4s, but you got to get there to get them first. But I like that they don't make you fight over first place or second place or stuff like that. And of course, in tier 4, 100%, you have 30 T4s here with 2 Path to Jean Grey orb fragments. But like I said, you're gonna have to have 4 Uncanny Avengers to get the job done. So you may see alliances probably hit this marker here at the 40% because you're gonna get halted right where the Uncanny Avengers thing hits until everybody starts to unlock Jean Grey. Still unsure how hard that's going to be, but time will tell. So that is the normal rewards for Spotlight to Prologue. Moving over to the first time rewards for this Spotlight raid. The first time completion for difficulty 1 is going to be 64,000 of the Crimson Gear Raid Orb Fragments, 25,000 Spotlight Raid Orb Fragments, 40,000 Battle World credits, 2.5 million gold, and 40,000 raid credits. As well as difficulty 1 is going to require ISO 8 tier 3 level 2. So this is going to be purple 2 from my understanding. Now moving forward at 10% raid completion, you guys are going to be getting this, of course, this and this. And of course, you guys are going to be getting the millions of points moving forward. On difficulty 2, you'll be getting 78,000 Crimson Gear Raid Orb Fragments, 28,000 Spotlight Raid Orb Fragments as a first time reward, of course, 50,000 Battle World credits, 3 million gold, and 46,000 raid credits. And of course, at difficulty 2, it will be ISO 8 tier 3 level 3. And it seems to be going up by 15 levels, 3 gear tiers, 2 red stars, and they're going to be getting 80% health. It seems to sort of get a little bit more difficult. So say you add both of these together, and then you'll finally see what difficulty 2 is going to be bringing you. But there you have it for the reward structure for the Spotlight to Prologue. Fortunately, I wasn't able to get in, as I was saying earlier in this video, I wasn't able to get in on the gameplay videos, but be sure to go and check out all of your favorite envoys for some gameplay footage. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about the Spotlight to Prologue raids, and how you guys are going to be approaching this. Like, are your spenders going to be spending to get Jean Grey, or are you all free to play? So you guys are going to have to like tough it out and see how it goes on. But this is definitely going to be shaking up the raid leaderboards. So I'm very curious to see how this is going to go down. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I will catch all of you in the next one.